Hey everyone, it's Charlie. It's July 10th, Friday. Today, former New York Federal Reserve Bank President and current Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner testified before Congress, and I had a chance to watch some of those hearings today, and I found clips of them on YouTube, and I'm going to post them with this video. The first one is Congressman Brad Sherman trying to get a simple, straight answer out of our Treasury Secretary, which was, can the American people count on not having to bail out any further derivative products that might be coming down the pike? Can you give us a yes or no answer on derivatives sold from this day forward? Can I tell my constituents that they will not have to be bailed out? They won't have to bail out another Wall Street mess. And what happens after that is a 3-minute game of dodgeball that Geithner partakes in, absolutely refusing to answer yes or no to this very simple question. And then at the end of it, 30 seconds or so before time expires, he gives the patented Federal Reserve / Treasury answer, which is, you're too stupid to understand it. And that's paraphrasing, so now I'll give you somewhat of the actual quote. He tells Congressman Sherman that basically you don't understand the enormously complex set of legal conventions around the diversity of financial products in our market. So basically, they're too enormously complex and too diverse for a simple yes or no answer. Now, obviously, that's what the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and the mega too big to fail Wall Street firms want everybody to believe. You're too stupid to get it. I mean, you're smart enough to pay your bills at home, but when it's on a huge scale like Washington or Wall Street, you're too dumb to get it. So let the big boys play the game, and you just sit there and worry about where your next check's coming from. And basically that's it in a nutshell. Then his time expires, and then it's softball question after softball question from that point on. And then it gets to a congressman named Posey, and I'm not even sure where he's from. I think he might be from Florida, where he asks about the stimulus. And Geithner goes on and talks about, I'm glad you brought this question up, Congressman, which, yeah, I'm sure he is. And he goes on to say that it's achieved every goal, important goals that it set out to achieve. One was to slow the rate of decline in our economy, and help stabilize the financial system. Okay, well, first of all, that isn't what the stimulus package was designed to do. The stimulus package was allegedly designed to create jobs. The bailouts were designed to slow the economic meltdown and stabilize the financial markets, of which it has made the super elite in Wall Street and the super elite foreign banks, it's made them healthy and whole. But it certainly hasn't freed up any markets on Main Street. I mean, that's a fact. All you need to do is look at jobs report to find that out. We're pushing 7 million continuing claims, yet another new record this week. 159,000 increase over last week. So if the stimulus package was designed to create jobs, which is what it was sold on, it's failing miserably. Then he goes on to say, business and consumer confidence has risen substantially. Okay, well, that's great. There's an unquantitative statistic for you. And it's no wonder that it's risen, because for the last 90 days or so, we've had a Wall Street-led, banker-led, financial institution-led rally on the stock market, unlike we've ever seen before. And I think I looked up the statistic before. I think it's the largest, fastest increase in the Dow Jones since the last depression. Well, yeah, because 12.8 trillion on the low side, 20 trillion on the high side has been pumped into financial companies, not Main Street. So of course, consumer confidence, when everybody's a cheerleader for this administration and for this plan, everybody's been a cheerleader for it. Every mainstream media outlet has been toting the accolades of the administration and their courage for being so bold. Well, it was bold. It was a bold ripoff of the American people, and like I said, the banks are made whole. You and I are not. And And then he goes on to say, and indeed it has arrested the recession. And then the normal talk on Wall Street about how, or on CNBC or any news channel or business channel, how, you can't really look at the unemployment numbers because that's a lagging indicator. And you know what? People are buying into that. I mean, I hear that on Main Street all the time. Yeah, well, jobs are a lagging indicator. The bank's got to get healthy first. And we're going to be saying that right into absolute poverty. When is the American people going to wake up and realize that jobs aren't a lagging indicator? Jobs are what you go to make your mortgage payment. And, you might be being fed a bunch of crap on television about how don't worry about you losing your job as long as the banks are healthy and as long as they're not losing money, they'll get money into the system and that will create a job for you. Well, I'm afraid not. I mean, take a look at General Motors. They come out of bankruptcy after 30 days today, okay? The statistics on them are absolutely ridiculous. We spend $50 billion bailing them out. Okay, and they're going to pay us back by 2015. Highly, highly doubt it. But what do they do to make themselves leaner and meaner? Okay, well, they're shedding 20% of their salaried employees and 35% of their executives. So that's hundreds of thousands of more people, potentially, that are going to not have a job as they come out of bankruptcy. And this leaner, meaner General Motors is going to come out and, what? They're going to pay back $50 billion that they're into us? Never going to happen. We're going to own, we, the American people, are going to own General Motors until the end of that corporation. I mean, it's now a publicly owned government agency. Get used to it. It isn't changing. And oh yeah, Ford is going to be right behind them, in my opinion, because how on earth can Ford Motor Company, who never took a dime of bailout money, compete with a government entity that can set standards however they want? They can set them to meet the output of GM and Chrysler and not of Ford. They can, through GMAC financing, which is going to finance vehicles for GM and for Chrysler, they can offer 0% financing because it's government. You and I are going to pay for it anyway. It's like the post office. They can lose money, mail a letter for 40 cents, but they can lose money on it, all they want to, because the taxpayers are going to be in there to clean it up. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. But we're not told that. We're told that this $700 billion, truly $1.3 trillion stimulus is working. And without it, it's always they're always trying to prove something that's put an argument out there that you can't prove wrong. Okay, you can't prove a negative. What would have happened if we didn't have $1.3 trillion stimulus? You can't prove it. All they can say is, well, we've saved all these government jobs by giving money to the states who were supposed to create jobs, shovel-ready projects. Anybody remember that term? Well, it didn't go for that. It went to fill budget gaps. So it's just reckless abandon in Washington. They're just spinning us into oblivion. And you and I are supposed to just sit back and take it. That's all I got.